You are about to enter a great adventure.
This is Starting from Gorilla.
What's up, gentlemen? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Strutting from Gorilla here on the Captivate Network, also known as LOM Productions, also known as What the Fuck Are We Doing? We're going to be talking to you about another edition of In Real Life, episode number 25. WrestleMania 37. The date today is April 16th, and we're just going to go after it. Gentlemen, first of all, thank you to Anya for putting on a great show. Vito, Anya, you guys killed it.
Absolutely.
There were
awesome.
Too many of us that were just unable to make it, so I want to thank you for that. But it is great to be back in this chair. Mango, we still miss you, but, I'm going to talk for the rest of us. I want you to check us out at struttingfromgorilla.com. Want you to go after us at from_gorilla on our TikTok and on the Twitter machine. Come talk to us. We're here. We're ready. And today we are going to be talking to you about WrestleMania 37 week. There was a lot to go over, and we're going to do our best to just kind of touch on the good, touch on the bad, but quite frankly, just have a blast with it. Mikey Cash, I'm going to send it to you to kick us off.
Well, great. As of April 15th is when I finally finished watching all of the replays of both WrestleMania and NXT TakeOver. Unfortunately, I think for the first time ever, I could not watch WrestleMania live as it was happening. Family commitments, but Mikey Cash is back. I'm back in the saddle, as they say, and I was really sort of blown away by the whole week. I think, hey, WWE kind of got what they wanted. They owned the week. Wouldn't you say, Vito? I mean, they owned it. There wasn't another thing that was going to compete. I mean, even a pretty good Dynamite that week from what I saw. But yeah, so this was great. I guess I'll just throw some takeaways, and Vito, we'll just kind of keep going back and forth on this stuff. Let's just start with the elephant in the room, or should I say the bunny in the room? Bad Bunny. I gotta say, as much as Vito, I agree with you. Listen, they do this thing with the musical acts and celebrities, and they really push those people because they want that mainstream audience. And sometimes it works to the detriment of the wrestling fans who are watching all of this. With that said, this match actually delivered and then some. To me, I think Bad Bunny showed that he put some real work into training to become a professional wrestler. This guy really wasn't phoning it in. We saw Snooki a couple of years ago when she wrestled with Maria Menounos. All right. And she just did she did the old China, cartwheel thing, the cartwheel move, right? That was about it. Bad Bunny put on a full-blown match. He sold his ass off. He was doing Canadian destroyers. I mean, he's doing hurricanranas, and he's doing them more crisp than some veterans do. I was blown away. What did you think, Vito? This was wild.
Yeah, he did a good job. And again, I want to point out, it's not Bad Bunny that I was really concerned about. It's just the whole process of all of it that drives me nuts. And I could tell. Obviously, he's a big wrestling fan. He killed it from the entrance. He killed it from the effort that he put into it. Obviously, the timing was off a little bit here and there, but I give him a lot of credit. I honestly, at one point, Damian Priest was supposed to be in the match more than he was. I kept looking at him, and he almost was like, "What the hell? I'm supposed to be
why
in
am I here?"
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but Bad Bunny did a good job. I just feel like it takes away from some of the wrestlers they have on the show. And I get it. He brought lots of eyeballs to the product that maybe hadn't seen it before. He certainly set the bar a lot higher for celebrities when they come in. And there's always going to be celebrities that come in during WrestleMania week. I get that. I do. I really do. The point behind this one was I actually hated his performance at Royal Rumble. And it was almost just again, they're just force feeding you this stuff. And I'm not going to harp on it because I harp on it all the time.
No,
that's cool. Where my hatred came from it. But I'll give him credit where credit is. Yeah, that just
you had a stench from Royal Rumble, and I hope that this actually washed that off, at least so that you're neutral on him.
To Vito's point,
all right,
all of this Bad Bunny, corporate agenda bullshit, unfortunately worked on the stock board. If I'm looking at this month's stock watch, well, there's been 2 episodes since we haven't heard the infamous stock watch.
Gotta get
It didn't die. It just got resurrected. Unfortunately, not like The Undertaker. But $56.36 is where we're at on the stock watch, and that actually has done nothing but gone up since Bad Bunny was announced at the Royal Rumble. That Universal bullshit, Universal Records, WWE pushing, it happened. It worked. Kudos to him for working out, but it's more of the corporate agenda that I, like you, Vito, didn't enjoy.
Yeah, it's just that's the reason I haven't liked WWE, and well, I'm not gonna say I haven't liked it. It's the stuff that pushes me away. It just drives me crazy, and it's not about like the advertising or whatever. I don't care about that. Like you're gonna have that stuff going in there, but it's like just the fact that they like push that stuff, and it's just so bad. Like it drives me crazy. And you know what? Okay, we'll move on because
we
I'll
gotta
give
move
him
on.
his due. I'm happy about it. I want to talk about one negative thing about the whole week, and then we'll get into some of the positives and whatever. Overall, it was what I thought it was going to be as far as WrestleMania is concerned. They have all these WrestleMania moments, and it's like there's so many of them. How are any of them even special? Like there's so many matches. Like it just one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, one title after another title, after another title, after another title. And it's like, gosh, what are you doing here? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And it's hard to understand who is like the top guy, who isn't. Was it Lashley versus McIntyre? Was it Edge versus Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns? It's just, there's so much going on. It's hard. And then
you sound overwhelmed.
yeah, that's how I feel. Let's start at the beginning of the week a little bit, right? We had the Raw. Sure, fine. It was a Raw, 3 hours, an hour too long, like it always is, and probably not going to watch it. Probably just going to watch the clips, right? They have some good moments, some bad moments, whatever. Then we had the Hall of Fame ceremony, which was god awful. It was just brutal, man. Like everything was scripted. Everything was just very, very difficult to watch. And
yeah,
I don't know.
Vito, can I jump in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, honestly, the speeches were by far the worst this year out of any years because, like, they had complete control over everything everybody said because it was all recorded. Mm-hmm. Like, they lost that, like, the authenticity of people just giving a speech and then responding to the fans. And so it was kind of awkward. Like, it feels like a throwaway. Like, maybe they just should have just, like, stopped it.
Yeah, but it just
couple years and
it takes that special moment away from some of those guys that you really admired. And I still think they should go back and look at it and have that moment where, okay, maybe we don't do 5 or 6 guys every year. And it was even worse this year because there was 2 years of basically people going in, and they just need to have, like, maybe they don't induct, like, have different tiers, and every year they don't have to have the same tiers, and it would make it feel a lot better. It was great seeing, like, some of the guys, but I expected more from the NWO, and like that. It was just
I didn't at all. That was awful, and I kind of expected it was going to be.
I just hated it, and I just hated it. It was difficult to watch, but we'll move on. So that was kind of a negative to me. Then Wednesday, Thursday, you had
Takeover, baby.
Takeover. Gotta tell you, it was really good.
It was great.
Lived up to the hype. A lot of good matches. Now, I got to go back and look, but Mike, were there as many matches for Takeover as there were for WrestleMania?
I can tell you right now. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. So night one.
Well, you pull that up. I don't know if maybe the two nights of Takeover, then 2 nights of WrestleMania kind of threw me over the edge. I'm not really sure what it was. But I thought the 2 nights of Takeover were great. They didn't feel as long watching Takeover, I can tell you that. And the matches, the matches stuck out. Like, you could see the different matches going on.
So I did the math, and if I counted it right, NXT Takeover only had 10 matches total.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 5 matches a night.
Yeah.
And then WrestleMania had 14 matches in total. So it looked like it rounded to about 7 a night. I might have missed something, but that's what the count is.
It allows the matches to have substance because they can go a little bit longer. Some of the matches at WrestleMania just felt like they were pushed and rushed, and like I felt like the Cesaro Seth Rollins match was awesome, but it could have gone longer. It could have gone longer and been better. You know,
if there was one match I would have cut from the card, it probably just would have been Shane and Braun. Like I could have done without that match like entirely, and I think I wouldn't have felt like I missed anything.
Yeah.
I don't need to see Shane every year, but I'm still, my positive still stands. Like we talked about the last episode, I'm glad that Shane is really the only part timer that was on this.
Yeah, I'll agree.
Here's WrestleMania, so I'll give it that, and like automatically that gives me like almost like I kind of forgive it. Just because, like, all right, well, at least this year it was 14 matches in total, and 13 of them were with all full-time superstars.
Right.
So that's great.
Yeah. No, I agree. But you know, let's go over a couple of matches here for NXT that I'll give you two that I thought were really.
So
really
are we doing NXT first, and then we're doing?
Yeah, I would say might as well. Yeah,
okay.
Might as well. I'm not going to go through every match, but I mean, the first night was really good. Almost every match on there. Besides, I mean, the tag match wasn't bad.
No,
tag team championship match, but it was probably the worst match on the card.
Which is saying something, seeing as like the worst match in quotes.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad. But I'll tell you the two that I really liked. Well, I mean, there were really three, but there really were. I mean, I like the Pete Dunne match. You know, it's funny. I didn't realize he lost so much weight, and he reminds me a lot of Kurt Angle.
Does he?
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the mat technician part of it, but he does a really good job. I thought that match was really good. Yeah, I thought it was great. And it wasn't like over the top great, but it wasn't like a bad match. It was a great first match.
I liked it, and you and Anya were talking about it, and you guys touched on it last time, and I gotta say, I agree that the whole, like, the Pete Dunne and Kushida, their styles they're like different but similar in the sense that his still has like that Japanese strong style, and Pete Dunne has the British strong style, and I think they mesh really well together. That's what I saw in this match. It was really cool.
Yeah, that was Anya's point. It was a great point.
Yeah, you guys were spot on.
Yeah, she was. That was a really great point. So I'll give that one a plus. I also like the Raquel Gonzalez versus Io Shirai. Io Shirai. I always mess it up, but I thought that was a great match. I thought it was awesome. Raquel Gonzalez reminds me a lot of Chyna.
Yes.
She's gonna be big. I think she's gonna be big. She's gonna fit in there with the top girls there. I mean, the Charlotte Flairs. She's gonna be a great asset.
If they can keep her in NXT, like don't touch her. Leave her in NXT. Do not bring her to any of the main shows. They will ruin her.
Yeah, they will.
At the very least, you know, we have our histories with Triple H as fans over the years, but when it comes to NXT, the dude kind of knows what he's doing and really appears to like give a shit about women's wrestling. And so NXT has by far, for me, of all the like promotions right now, has the most well-rounded and well-developed women's division. It is, and I think this is an example of that. Like, look at all the people that are there that even came from there. But Raquel Gonzalez, holy smokes, her and Io Shirai killed it this weekend. And they did such a good job of like building her up, like in her power during that match. It was just like so evident, and like Io Shirai, just like a bat out of hell, like reckless abandon, and I think that's the style that kind of got her over with the fans. Like it was awesome.
Oh, agreed. I'm right on point there with you on that one. So I'll give you that, and then the other one was Walter versus Ciampa. I
mean, hard hitting. That's all you need to say. They kicked the shit out of each other, and I feel like Ciampa sort of found himself again, because I didn't pay too much attention to what was going on after him and Gargano had that like empty arena match that like a while ago. It looked like he kind of, I don't know, just maybe was floundering a little bit. I'll admit I wasn't paying much attention at the time, but really seemed to like come back to the stride that I was watching in 2018 and some of 2019. So that was really great to see. And Walter continues to deliver as usual. He now has the longest reign of any champion right now. He's over 2 years as UK champion.
But let me point this out, because he is like the exact person that WWE of the main roster would never push. Absolutely, like, he doesn't have the look. He doesn't really do anything, but he's a grizzled ring veteran. And like, they don't have those guys anymore. You know, like, it's all like, you got to have the look. You got to have this. You got to have that. And I mean, does he even talk all that much? I mean, and what he does, that's the point. Like, and that's what I think makes the difference here. Like, I I enjoyed that match too.
Oh, fantastic. And Vito, you should be watching NXT UK. I think you'll like it. And it's only an hour.
Yeah.
Like, you can't beat that.
No, you can't. No, I got to give that more of a shot. So first night was good. Then I was excited to watch the second night.
Ooh.
I'll let you go through what matches
Sure.
you were stuck out to you, Mike.
For me, I really liked the ladder match, the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight title. Santos Escobar and Jordan Devlin did really well. I think they were really aggressive with the ladder in this match, it felt like, and they didn't get any extra. What I liked about it was like it was just a ladder match. If I remember it right, there was no chair stuff happening. Like, there was some outside interference, but there wasn't like a table involved, and then like you have this, and then it just like organically becomes a TLC match. It was just a ladder match, and I really liked that.
Agreed.
Another one that stood out: Finn Balor and Karrion Kross. Congrats to Karrion Kross, by the way, and finally he wins the championship and he doesn't tear his rotator cuff, so this is good. I thought they have a really good match. Just an aside, I really dig Karrion Kross's entrance. Like, I like the whole his music just like ends. Like, it's almost like a performance to get out, and then the music is over. So I was like, I've never really seen that. Xia Li has that too, actually. So I have seen it, I guess. Those two, they have like really cool entrances. So hopefully this doesn't become something that they just do for everybody and then it becomes stale. Yeah. Keep it special. Keep it with just a select few people. I really think this is going to be a turning point for Balor. I wonder if he's leaving NXT. I hope he doesn't, because I think he can still have matches with a ton of other people here. And, he can kind of work with Kyle O'Reilly again, or Adam Cole, or even Gargano, go for the North American title. But this, great match. Real physical. I dug it. Made Karrion look really good. How about you?
No, I agree. I thought it did too. Is Karrion Kross, is he part of like the Rock's family tree or something? He reminds me a lot of the of that. I maybe not.
I don't think so, but I don't really know.
Okay, because I don't know. He's got the look, man. He's got that unique look, that unique gimmick. The entrance is great, but again, they're doing a good job of using the manager.
Yeah.
To
Scarlett's good.
Be a little bit more theatrical. That makes it unique. It's not just I think that the thing about the Fiend right now is that he's very unique. It's different. And this character is very different. It's not just a wrestling guy. And I'm fine with that. I like having guys that shine in a theatrical setting, but it made it different. And I enjoy stuff like that. So good for them. I thought it was a great match. Was it a stellar one? It was good.
It wasn't stellar, but it was good. It was good. A good hard-hitting match.
Good. I would put it in the top 5 of any of the WrestleMania matches, but that's just me.
No, I agree with you on that one. On a rare occasion, I agree with you on that. What Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole? What did you think of that one? I dug it.
Yeah, I thought it was great too. I mentioned this on the last episode with Anya, but this unsanctioned match wasn't a thing until Dean Ambrose and Kenny Omega. Yeah. And I just feel like it's kind of like, I don't even know why they call it an unsanctioned match. When have they ever called something an unsanctioned match?
Well, right. The way AEW handles it is that no matter who wins or loses, it doesn't affect their record.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I get it. They were trying to make it so that they were making it seem like it was a very, very heated rivalry, which it was. They did a great job building up this storyline. Even I'll be truthful, I haven't seen all of the NXTs that they were in, but I mean, I got the gist of it. I watched the vignette before and the promo leading up, and I mean, it was great. I mean, you have this undisputed era been together forever, and they did a really good job of feeling that emotion. I thought it was great. You don't see that all too often anymore, and I really liked the way they built it up. And the match was great. I thought it was very hard hitting. They used some unique things in there with the chain, and I thought it was cool. They went through the stage.
That looked like it killed.
But then not only that, he beat and ripped the set apart. You know what I mean? It was. It was awesome. I thought it was really cool. So I thought that was a great way to end the show. I thought it was probably, with top 2 match. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and they gave.
I mean, oh no, go ahead.
I was just saying they gave him plenty of time to tell the story. Like,
Mhm.
that's the thing. Again, they gave them plenty of time. I don't know how long it was off the top of my head, but I would say it was over 30 minutes
It
or
was.
close to it. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know that there was a match that long at WrestleMania. I mean,
No.
maybe there just
Maybe I
wasn't.
think it might have been maybe Sasha and Bianca had a good match. They had a
Maybe.
good like 20 plus minute match.
But it gives you like, you could see, like, O'Reilly did a great job of making you feel bad for him, like, and like that underdog story. And then the
Mhm.
cool thing, I said this last time too, was when he left and you saw Adam Cole on the stretcher, you saw that he was kind of concerned for him.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
yeah, we beat the crap out of each other and we hate each other, but you know what? I'm a little concerned. It was a great babyface moment.
Really good
Great
babyface
yeah.
moment. And
Gr-
honestly, think about so Undisputed Eras, they were together. I think they got together in like 2016. But they debuted at Takeover Brooklyn right after Drew McIntyre at the time won the NXT title. They won, they debuted, they kicked the shit out of him. So they were together for 5 years. They were together longer than the Shield was.
Yeah.
Like so it actually felt like it meant even more
Mhm.
when this all ended. It was
Great storytelling.
yeah,
That's the
really
stuff.
good story.
That's the stuff that WWE is missing in the main roster right now. It's just
Mhm.
they're getting there with a few things, but they need to do it more consistently. Overall, NXT,
Overall, great.
very happy with it. Very happy with it.
My one nitpick, Vito.
Please.
I kind of feel like this is the first year that I really wasn't into the Gargano match. I was like, meh. Like he's
Yeah.
fine. It was fine. Like I don't mind. Like we didn't talk about the women's tag team championship match, which was good, but I would actually put Johnny's match under it because I was like, I just wasn't. I don't know why. Maybe that's the fallback of doing like a tournament the night before and then they fight him the day of. I don't. There's
Yeah.
not too much story.
Yeah, that's probably it. Again, you get invested. I talk about this all the time. Like, what are you going to invest yourself in when you
Mhm.
have 30 different storylines that you're trying to pay attention to? Something gets left in the dust. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. It wasn't his
Nah, what do
year
you
this
do?
year to be pushed like that, and that's fine. I mean,
It
we all
happens.
know what he is, so
Yeah.
I have no issues with that. But yeah, I thought I give it a solid grade. I give it a
Yeah.
B
Me
plus.
too.
Very happy with it. Lived up to the expectation. We thought it was going to be better than WrestleMania. I personally think it was. Anyways,
Overall, yeah. I think.
yeah, agreed. Let's move on to WrestleMania. So you have the Thursday night or Friday night SmackDown. Again, I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch that at all either. And I'm
So-
so glad that they put that stupid battle royal on it because it's pointless.
Oh, you're right.
And,
so
like
good.
it's telling us and like now they understand like what this is. They're like, oh, we'll put this on SmackDown, and like so Jey Uso wins it, and like nobody cares. They've shown that it doesn't matter.
Yep.
I'm glad they did that. It gave room for all of these matches to get some time. Granted, it was still a long show. Think about how much longer it would have
I
been
know.
if it was all 14 matches. It would have been terrible. Some of these matches would have had time cut completely short, which I feel like if I'm going to just like throw a dart at the board here, it probably would have been Cesaro and Seth Rollins. It gets like either the cut or like it becomes a squash match or something where like
I know.
Cesaro just spun him 20 times and then he leaves,
I know.
And
Listen, I completely agree with you. I do. I'll say this about WrestleMania. The first night, obviously, I'm going to give them a little bit of a break. I never do that, but I'm going to give them a little bit of a break on this one. I will say that the set, Bobby Stone, you may, I don't know if you saw it or not, but the set for WrestleMania was awesome. I mean, and it was good to see because you've had this Thunderdome, same no audience set for a year plus now,
Mhm.
and it was good to see a different set and everything, and I like that. Then you have the rain delay, which has never happened, and it definitely threw everyone off. And I know you're going to talk about that. I mentioned it the last podcast. There's some stuff that you thought was pretty good coming out of it, but I before you say that, I just want to say the one thing I thought was really cool. It's like a plus for them, but also a negative. Vince McMahon came out and thanked the fans. And I thought that was pretty cool and kind of thanked the wrestlers for doing what they
Mhm.
did. And it was definitely like, if you listen to anybody talk, even in the Jericho Austin interview, they were like, Jericho's like, I've been doing this forever. And this is the worst, trying to wrestle with no fans. He's like,
Mhm.
because you can't get a read. I thought that was a cool moment. The downside to it is these wrestlers have been doing it without fans for a year and a half. So now you're going to the grandest stage of them all. Everyone's nervous, and now you have fans again. And it almost it seemed like things were off a little bit because you had the rain, you had the fans, you had everything, and that was just my opinion.
Well, it's almost akin to like your first like show in front of an audience. Like you just had basically a year of rehearsal, and now you're just hoping that what you've been doing this whole time is actually being liked by people. Twitter can only give you so much of a barometer. What's it going to be like when you're out in there again? And not so much for like the established guys here, but some of the people that were coming up, the Naomi and Lana's, the Riot Squad, and like the things that they're doing to try to develop, even Cesaro for that matter, or Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Business. Like all of these guys were having like really big developmental moments with their character at a time when we didn't have anybody in the audience to really give them the gauge of, is this working?
Yep. No, I agree there. So let's kind of briefly go through them. All right? We're not going to go through every match here. I don't really want to, but let's pick two matches let's pick two matches here. One I want to talk about. They started it off with Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, and I thought that was a fantastic. No, did they started off with that, right? Yeah, they did.
They did.
I thought that was a fantastic match. Those two have grown on me. McIntyre in particular, I wasn't his biggest fan, and he's been growing on me, man. Like you can see he's kind of taken a leadership role and like being like, I'm going to do this. Like, this is what I'm going to do. I think his wrestling is great. I think his mic skills are getting better. Overall, I like him. And then I've always liked Bobby Lashley, and I'm glad he's back in the spotlight again. And he was being misused by not being in the heavyweight title picture against these guys. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I thought the match was great.
I think it was really great to see Bobby Lashley get a moment as champion and get like a bomb entrance at a WrestleMania. Like he needed that. I mean, the last time he did it was like, unfortunately, like the Donald Trump match. Like, and like that's fucking tainted as hell right now. So we should just strike that from the record. But no, this was great. It more than made up for that. I really think he has put so much work in, and I've gone back and I've watched some clips of the stuff that he was even doing at TNA when he was paired up with MVP, and you could see sort of the evolution of that into what they've been doing at Raw. And I don't know what the hell MVP says to Vince, but like, keep doing it, MVP. Like you are like a guru, whatever you're doing to convince him to just let you guys do your thing. Please, for the love of God, keep doing it. And I hope you convince him to put the Hurt Business back together. Quick aside, because that needs to happen. Maybe that was the trade-off to allow Bobby Lashley to retain it. WrestleMania it was like, all right, pal. It's just, I thought it was a good match. So I'm with you. For me, the match that the first match of the two, Cesaro and Seth Rollins. I think it's just purely because I was so happy for Cesaro, and to have a match and to win against somebody who's a former Universal Champion, former WWE Champion, US Intercontinental, Seth's a Grand Slam champ, and he was able to win against him at WrestleMania. I think that's really significant for Cesaro and his progress, and I hope that something comes of it. I'm not going to hold my breath, but I will concede that night was a good night to be a Cesaro fan.
Yeah, again, the rare occasion we're going to agree on everything here, but I also agree with that. I think a match like this should have more time. Like, I just thought it was too short. And the one thing I'll take out of it is Seth Rollins, right? I've never been a Seth Rollins guy. I've thought he's a good wrestler. I thought he's got all the skills. But you know what this showed? This showed that Seth Rollins can play a great heel. I loved his promo for this, where it was like, Seth Rollins, like your real champion. And, it was just thought it was a cool little thing that he was doing. And, but it showed like, you don't have to win to get over, and there's not enough of that. Like, if he can realize that, and some other people can realize that, like, you're going to lose, it puts you over just as good too.
Yeah.
And I think you'll notice that, he'll start, if he can start doing that more, and it's not all about Seth Rollins and, he's got this, he's got that. Like, this is I thought it was good. And again, he was kind of stagnant in my opinion.
I agree.
I think he's got all the talent in the world, but this just showed a different side of it. And I thought it was good because, it was a moment that needed to be had.
Yeah. And to like piggybacking off of that, Seth did lose a lot of momentum when he left and he came back. He never really struck a chord with me as a heel in this run, but I always harken back to his 2014 run that I thought was really good. And I feel like recently in the build, at least to the Cesaro match, like you said, he found that again. Like he found some footing, and it wasn't because he's relying on like a group, whether it was the Shield or whether it was the Authority or whether it was the Buddy Murphy and I forgot who else was there. But
the Hurt Business. No.
No. It was somebody else.
The pain,
whatever it was.
Those guys.
That's how memorable it was.
Yeah,
that we can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
So I think he kind of found himself again with it, and I think that's great for him. And it makes it all the more special because I think for Seth, you were saying something about him losing and not really losing anything because of that, and sort of even gaining. He's won all the championships he can win. He's sort of morphing to a point where he can start doing that and he doesn't lose anything by losing.
Yeah. No, I agree. So that's a good one. I'm going to give you another one here that is kind of an interesting pick. Well, you know what though?
Who's your second pick?
My next pick is going to be the same one as you. I already know it is. I thought the match of the night, or both nights, was really Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. That's got to be your next one too, right? That's got to be.
Wait, so are we doing of all nights? Because I thought we were doing each night.
Oh, I was going to do all nights.
Okay.
Nights. Sorry.
All right.
I would bet that because I know you've talked about. I think that was the match of the show. To be honest with you, I thought it was great. They're giving Roman Reigns the push the right way this time as a heel, and he is killing it. He is killing it in that position. And it had to have Edge and Daniel Bryan in there and have their spots, and the way that they did it, I thought it was great, man.
So we actually disagree.
Okay.
So for me, what I thought was the match of both nights was the main event of night one.
Okay.
Which was the SmackDown Women's Championship with Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair.
Okay.
Both of those matches deserved to. I mean, they both earned their spot where they were. Like, there's a reason why you and I are both like, well, our matches were these two.
Yeah, right.
They were the both main events,
Yeah.
I'll jump on the triple threat though and talk about that because I am with you. I think this was one of the strongest showings for Roman Reigns that didn't feel like inauthentic in a long time.
The boos were real.
The boos were real, and it wasn't like go away heat. It was just like, no, you're actually doing really good. It's like we're gonna boo you. That was awesome. Vince McMahon was probably breathing a sigh of relief because, like we were talking about before, there's no audience there, so you don't know if he's like somehow become a face to them because he's doing what everybody wanted him to do. I'm happy that people were actually booing him. He's doing a good job. He's like, it's amazing to think that finally in 2021, in like maybe his fourth or fifth main event of WrestleMania, we finally feel like, yeah, he should be there. We're saying that like, there's no problem with it.
It comes with the right push, and you push someone too early and it doesn't always work out. And if you go back in the annals of time, it's probably there's probably plenty of examples of this. That's fine. He's figuring it out now. I just wish they did it a little bit sooner. And you know what's good? His wrestling is pretty damn good too. I wouldn't have said that about him very much, but I think it's because he doesn't have to worry about like everything else. He's just like, I can be myself. I can feel a little bit more natural. And he's got Paul Heyman on his side that kind of gives him that extra heat. I think it's good. I'm very happy with it. I thought Edge lived up to. He wasn't a part timer. Thought he did great. Daniel Bryan did great. Love the two of them in that match. Really did. I wouldn't mind seeing them in a match by themselves.
I would love that.
Too. But really, I think like 50% of the match was those two.
Mhm.
75% of the match was really those two, and 25% was Roman Reigns. But Roman
Mhm.
Reigns got over because of what they did, and then the
Right.
double pin at the end. Oof,
That was
that's the stuff you love.
awesome. Like
That's the
you
stuff
used to
you
see
love.
that in like squash matches with
Oh
Ryback,
yeah,
and he would like have the guys up and he would
yeah,
just do it. This was the first time I ever watched it, and I was like, yeah, that's deserved. He beat
yep.
the shit out of him.
Oh
That was
yeah,
this and he
oh
won.
yeah,
And it
yep.
and it didn't feel for like I don't know. There was something like really cool about that moment. He had just been kicking ass the whole match. All three of those guys were fantastic in it. Just the visual of Roman pinning both of them, like he drags them over, and then he goes over both. Like holy shit!
So good.
And even like the little detail of making sure that like Edge is over enough so that his shoulders are down too, so you don't have any sketchy situation. It was definitive and dominant. I loved it.
Agreed on all accounts there. I thought it was great, and the best part about it is it ended the night, which made it even better. So
Yeah.
and
It didn't send people home happy, which is actually kind of cool because
yes,
they could have switched it and just had, they could have had the Sasha and Bianca match because that was definitely the feel good moment of the whole weekend.
yep.
Was her winning.
I think a good, I don't know if we're giving Edge's due justice here, but he really built up I really want to win that championship
Mhm.
back. Like, and everyone really kind of wanted to see it. So it even put more heat on Reigns.
Oh yeah, big time.
So anyways, that was a good match. I will say the other thing I want to touch on, because I know it's been one that we talked about a lot, is Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, and Randy Orton.
Oof. I was disappointed. I felt bad, but I was really disappointed.
It's just one of those things. Like, I love the entrance. The Fiend's entrance was
So good.
great. So good. It's been built up so great, and I'm not going to say I hated it. Again, it's a short thing that could have been so much better. So much better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm with you. It was
It just was not my cup of tea. It doesn't turn me off from the Fiend. You got Randy Orton, who's a great wrestler, and I just thought it was a waste, kind of, but whatever. So we'll move on. I just wanted to touch on that one.
Right.
And then what are the other ones that you wanted to touch on here?
Well,
Before?
we need to make sure we give time to the women's championship match. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Like, I can't sing their praises enough.
Yep.
I don't know if when you were listening to the commentary in the beginning of this match, I can't believe that they actually said these are the first two black women to main event a championship match at WrestleMania. Do you realize that for all the things that they do about like forcing history and like really kind of pushing it, it's like essentially becomes part of their marketing ploy.
Yeah.
This was great because it actually just felt real. It was like in the moment, like, oh, and for folks who don't know, this is why this is important right now. This is why the crowd's going crazy. This is why Bianca Belair is basically crying in the ring because it's fucking monumental. And I thought it was so cool. And I think that added to the allure of the match. Sasha Banks, do you realize like she is involved in almost every milestone in the women's division in WWE?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they went down some of the lists, and she didn't win this, but she was in the first women's elimination chamber match too. She's in everything. She's always there. They might try to always have the title on Charlotte, but the real, I think, like rock, like foundation of this division is Sasha Banks.
Yeah, she can wrestle, man.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable. And this isn't anything. It's not a knock against Charlotte when I say this. It's just this is how I see it. And I thought this match was really well done. I found out that how they all have like agents, people that put together matches, like how Pat Patterson used to do. And so TJ Wilson, Tyson Kidd, helped put together this match, and it was really, really wonderful to see. The chemistry between them is awesome. I can't wait to see more of their one-on-one classics. Bianca Belair, holy shit. This showcased her strength. We talked about Raquel Gonzalez at TakeOver. They did some similar work here, and in a way that just, I think, really wowed the crowd. Like, with the whole, she caught her and she did the whole John Cena body press roll through, when she like, he used to like catch him, come up and like, she did that and then just basically deadlifted her over her head and just walked her up the ramp into the ring. Like, that was such a cool moment. how about when Bianca basically cut her in half with her when she whipped her hair at her? Did you see the scar on her midsection, dude? It was wild.
No, it's a good match.
I think I'm just super excited. I think this was, for me, this was my whole match of WrestleMania weekend. It was unreal. And I can't wait to see more of it. I watched it again too, just the other day.
I'm not going to disagree with you on it. I'm not going to say it wasn't. I really liked it as well. I thought it was a good one. They ended the 2 nights very well. So I agree there. There are a couple others I just want to touch on. That the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn one, I really liked it too. I mean, look, these guys didn't get any promotion for it really. Yeah, they did need to do with the YouTube guy. I agree. But I mean, there's really no point. But I got to tell you, man, they need to push Sami Zayn a little bit more. He is a great heel. He's believable. I like his style. Yeah, I think he's better than people give him credit for. And Kevin Owens is what Kevin Owens is. Like, I like Kevin Owens.
Me too.
He's
wonderful.
He had his run as champion and it was lackluster. I mean, it was all right. He's just a different style dude. And but I really like Sami Zayn. And I hope he finds his groove, because I really enjoy watching him. And again, you have so many people in a promotion, people are going to get lost. And he's, I think, kind of the unfortunate one. I liked when they were pushing him as the Intercontinental Champion, because you can be the Intercontinental Champion, be just as over as the WWE Champion. So I like them. The other guy so go ahead. You want to?
Well, I was just going to say that I'm. Again, I think I kind of disagree with you, because I think Sammy's had a really good run in his paranoid character that he's got going on.
Yeah,
he's basically has the Wrestling with Shadows crew following him around, watching his every move just to make sure nothing shady happens. I do think that Sammy could probably benefit from a change of scenery. I think he's done all he can do on SmackDown. Yeah. You and I were talking before we started recording about NXT UK and how, in my head, I thought maybe it would be cool to send like 2 superstars like Sheamus or Cesaro over there, like for a stint. And Sami Zayn is another one that I would say might do well to go over there and work with some of these guys. There's just, that's the, it's the gift and the curse of all these different brands that they have. You could, Raw and SmackDown don't have to be the only 2 shows that these guys keep going back and forth on. And occasionally dropping to NXT. NXT UK exists too, and like that's like a really untapped market for them. I feel like, and I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent, but that's
a great thought. That's a great thought. I wanna keep moving a little bit, because I want to give us like 10 minutes to talk about Austin and Jericho.
Yes.
So the couple other matches. Though I just want to touch on this one quick. Matt Riddle, Sheamus, again, rushed. It was a little sloppy. I like both those guys. The timing seemed off on some things. The ending was unbelievable. Here's the thing about Matt Riddle, though. I think he's an awesome wrestler. I think his gimmick is really cool, but they're like almost overdoing it to some degree with the whole bro thing. And like, it just seems forced, and it doesn't seem great when he does some of those talking points. But I like him. I think he's I think he has really good potential, because he's great in the ring. He's very athletic, man. And I think once he polishes some things up, and I like him.
I do agree with you on that. I thought that was good. And I just want to throw a couple shout outs for this. Shout out to the Riot Squad. I think they kind of shined in a losing effort. That's all I'll say. They did really well. I think the crowd sort of was behind them. And I haven't been a huge fan of Tamina over the years. I've had a lot of complaints about some of the work she's done, but I'm glad that she got that moment. That was really cool. The crowd was like legitimately into her and Natty. Yeah. And both of them are veterans. So I'm happy that they got their moment. I'm sad that they lost, but hey, you know what? I'm glad that happened. But again, kudos for the Riot Squad. And 2, Omos having his debut with AJ Styles versus the New Day. This actually was a really good debut. I think they did a good job of like protecting him and also keeping him powerful. And they couldn't have picked a better tag team for it to happen against, because I guess I didn't understand it until I watched it, because the whole time I was like, why is the New Day fighting these 2 jamokes? But as it turned out, I thought the match came out really well. I think AJ Styles is AJ Styles. You know what you're getting when you have him in a match. We didn't know what we were going to get from Almost. And I was really happy with what I saw. I think it meant a lot for the New Day to be that tag team, to lose to them, because they don't really lose anything by it. They are well established. They're always going to be popular. They're always going to be in that tag team title picture. You have a former champion in Kofi on that side too. I thought it was great. And the fact that Kofi was the one that took the pin is another little boost for him. Like, you pinned a former champion. That's a big move. And I just want to say that I think Almost is better than Great Khali. No offense to Great Khali.
I mean,
I think it sounds like people
the bar
love him
is
as a
very
person,
low.
and I'm with it. I just didn't think he was great.
The bar is very, very low. So I think that's a fair statement.
All right.
Okay.
We talk about Austin.
Yeah, I want to before we end. So we missed a couple here, but let's just say again.
Great job by everybody. This was the first match back.
Yeah,
first match back in front of fans. It was a good WrestleMania. Was it the best? No. Was it the worst? No.
No, I'm excited. There were shining moments. I just wish people had more time to tell their story, and it wasn't so many WrestleMania moments. Like, it kills the whole.
There was that many though. I thought it was.
But they always like shoot for it. That's all they talk about, and it drives me nuts sometimes. You can create a WrestleMania moment. Like, I look at the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian. They were like a mid-tier match, and they made that WrestleMania. They named a match after a pay-per-view after that match. And like, it's stuff like that. Like, you want to see some of that, but it's not the whole thing. And
I agree with you. I think if you're my takeaway in terms of any moments from that whole weekend was, I would say, to a lesser extent and more just like a moment in general, was that first opening segment with Vince and the whole Superstars out there.
Very cool.
Very cool. The other one for me is Bianca and Sasha, because of the context of what that actually meant. That was, and the fact that the crowd made that a moment.
Yeah.
That was organic and that was real. And so, like you said, like, I know that they try to force it a lot of times, and oftentimes, like, when I watch Total Divas, and sometimes they'll talk about, hey, I'm in the women's battle royal. It's my WrestleMania moment. It's not. It's their way of just getting you on the show to give you a paycheck. And it's all well and good. But this is this is a bigger issue, a systemic issue with WWE.
Before we close, Mikey, for all that has been good and for all that has been bad, the WWE has done really well with putting out great charity moments. It's not all bad, and their team has just done a lot of good for a lot of great people, and I think they are really, for as out of touch as they are with their fucking disaster of the pulse of the universe, what they are really in tune with is how to be a part of the greater whole, and matches like Sasha's is huge. And I'm not trying to trivialize anything. I think they recognize it, and the fact that they were able to actually give a bigger voice. I mean, there was, I want to say it was a NXT match a couple of months ago. I think before Bobby Lashley came up, it was and I'm going to apologize because I don't know the gentlemen's names, but everybody in the ring, including the referee, to start off the match are African American, and they're big. Those are great moments, and I don't think it's being forced. I think it's organic, and I think it's something that is great statement wise. So
sure.
Yeah, the culture in there is totally different than it was years ago, and it's
Absolutely.
it's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing, but it's also like, again, we're going to have an episode on this because I need to talk about it. It's a lot to do with just the territories and the overall, just how they bring guys up. That's what bothers me. There's just a lot of cookie cutter stuff, as we always talk about. But no, you're right, Bobby. I agree with you. Speaking of charities, though, before we get on to Austin, and if we go over a couple minutes here, that's fine. I want to talk about Austin Jericho. I want to end this on something good, really good. So before we do that, though, So they had Titus O'Neil and Hogan hosting the show, and oh my god!
Mm,
So here's the
terrible.
thing. It actually makes me extremely sad that Hogan's career has turned into what it is, and I just wish he would go away at this point to some degree because he's just ruining his legacy further, in my opinion. Like the guy was a myth. The guy was a myth and a legend, and he made some bad choices and he did some stuff. And, overall, was he a great guy in the locker room? No, he was all for Hogan. But we're going to have an episode on him. We'll talk about it more. It just makes me sad because he was like a childhood idol. And I think a lot of people feel that way. And then it's just, unfortunately, he's killed it. But that wasn't a great segment. And they actually booed him a lot of the times and piped in cheering. So great.
Well, that's not surprising.
No, okay, but real quick before we end it, Bobby, I want to talk about this because this was awesome. They did an Austin Broken Skull sessions, and they had Chris Jericho from AEW on it, which boggles my mind. I talked about this with Anya. We discussed the reasoning behind it and the whole Vince and Austin thing, so we don't need to get into that. If you want, you can listen to the last episode, and you'll hear more detail. I said that there's no way they get on there and talk about AEW. It just isn't going to happen. Yeah. I said it's all going to be softball questions. And boy, for the first time, and I can't tell you how long, was I surprised. And it wasn't even like a astronomical surprise. It's like something that should happen. And they talked about AEW and they talked about Tony Khan and they answered a lot of questions. And I've been listening to.
They mentioned the Young Bucks. They mentioned Adam Page. Yeah. They mentioned Orange Cassidy. They mentioned Kenny Omega. It was fantastic.
Awesome. And you know what? It was a breath of fresh air because I've always liked Jericho, but this interview, Austin does a really good job interviewing him. And he doesn't get the credit he deserves. He's a pretty good interviewer. And Jericho's a great storyteller. So it was a great match. This was the best one by far. And the thing that was so cool, and I learned this after the fact, because I was listening to interviews. And I don't know, maybe it'll be gone from the network in a week or something, but they asked questions, and both Vince and Tony Khan, because Tony Khan had to approve it too. You know what I mean? It wasn't just Vince. And they both trusted these guys enough to talk about this stuff without bashing on anybody. And they killed it. They nailed it. They
didn't bash anyone. Even when he talked about when he was leaving, he said, hey, you just got to recognize when it's time to go, which is not a statement of damnation on anybody. It's just, it was time for me to move on.
It was a great point because you know what? Screw the guys that sit there and collect the giant paychecks and complain about not being used. Screw them.
Gotcha.
Jericho said, no, I'm not doing that. And he went to NXT. He went to Japan and said, wow, this is fun. I didn't have to get approval for something. I didn't have to do that. Like, good for him. Good for those guys for doing all of that. Like, change it up, man. And it was just such a breath of fresh air. And what's cool about it is Jericho didn't come back and he wasn't negative. He was so positive about his time in WWE. And to see the fact that he writes down all of his matches.
Yeah, I kind of want to read that memoir of just all that stuff.
What a great dude. Like, I did not realize all the behind the scenes stuff and how much effort he puts into it. And very cool stuff, man. If you haven't checked it out, you're missing out.
It's wonderful.
It was great.
Great interview.
Yeah,
I'm with you, man. We're in sync on this one. I think him and Jericho they were just two friends talking about wrestling.
And it was like two legends talking about wrestling. And it was like, you could learn so much from that interview. I'm not even a wrestler and I learned a lot, and the stuff he did about how he gets phrases over, stupid phrases. Like he talked about the stupid idiot. Yeah. Dude. And how every time he comes out and he changes from a heel to a face, a baby face, he changes outfits because it makes sense. And it's like that little stuff goes such a long way. I didn't realize the hairdo thing was a Gene Simmons thing. That makes sense. I just thought it was a stupid Jericho thing.
Right. I thought he was just doing it to be annoying, which was working for him.
And the other really cool thing was his debut. They talked about his debut. I don't know if you ever saw it, Bobby Stone, when Y2J came in, but he came in and it's probably the best.
It's one of the best debuts. I mean, he interrupted The Rock mid promo, which didn't happen in 1999. It wasn't happening. He was coming fresh off of WrestleMania. That dude had a bunch of fire.
Oh, bunch of heat in the locker room. And, the other thing was The Rock let him go. Like, he made a great point. The Rock was great at that. I never really thought about it, but he let people just like eat at him. And then he would come back and just devour them.
I mean, think about how much The Rock used to get the shit kicked out of him. Like, he also would allow stuff like this. Like, I just think it's cool. Like, how much I love The Rock.
He was so good at it, but he did it purposely. Everything he did had a reason behind it. Like, it was so good. I would never have thought any of that, but that you can see the difference between what he would do and what other people would do, and how hard he tried to get over in certain stuff. And it friggin' worked, man. Like, Jericho, in my opinion, is one of the best of all time. I've always really I liked him when he was in WCW. I just always thought he was really good. They showed a segment that I didn't even know existed where he had a list of like moves because Dean Malenko was the man of 1,000 holds or whatever. And he went through a list and he goes, hold number 1, armbar. And he kept going. And they went to
so
commercial break, Bobby. They went to commercial break on the segment, and they come back, and he I guess he was just when they were at commercial break, he started saying stuff about whatever the hometown was. He was making fun of like their sports team. So everyone's booing him. And as soon as the camera came back on, he goes, hold number 766, armbar. And like, so it sounded like he was going through all of it and they were just booing him. But dude, it was like stuff like that, dude, like unbelievable. And he gave credit to people that deserved credit. Like, he didn't say, I did all of this. Like, he just, dude, it was so good. It was just so refreshing to hear stuff like that. And, it's so sad that WWE didn't hold on to him and use him as like a mentor or like whatever, because he could teach so much to some people. I mean, there are some factors where like you just have it and you can do it all, right? Like, he even mentioned, he's like, we had Stone Cold and The Rock. Some people don't even ever have a Stone Cold or a Rock. And we had them both, but like they also had a Jericho, like they also had a Shawn Michaels.
Other organizations are starting to get the Jerichos of the world, and they're starting to get the mentors that couldn't necessarily stay with the WWE. And I think it's actually going to be better for the business as a collective.
100%. 100%. But anyways, we'll end with this. We could go on and on. If you haven't, listen, I'm not going to sit here and recite the whole interview. Like, it's not worth it. You can go back and watch it, but it was very refreshing. Loved every second of it. Keep doing the Stone Cold podcast. Keep doing this type of stuff. And it was nice to see you broke the rules of WWE, and it worked. And I mean, realistically, AEW had way more to gain from this than WWE did. So yeah, I'm glad they did it. And I mentioned it last episode. I don't know if it's Vince just being like, hey, we just made $1 billion on Peacock, so I don't really give a shit anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Or if it's just like, hey, I actually respect Jericho.
Maybe
we're going to let him in on this one. And
it could be back to that thing Triple H said about being open for business. And maybe this is as far as they can go in terms of being open for business. Like, we may not be saying cross-promotional stuff, but you might get the opportunity here and there with somebody like Austin doing the interviews, and who clearly Vince trusts enough to even give him his own friggin' cell phone number, like, to do stuff like that occasionally. And who knows? I mean, it could be, like you said, literally a one-time thing because they love Jericho and figured, what the hell, it really can't hurt us.
Nope. I loved it. Check it out. I'll probably talk about it again sometime, I'm sure. Maybe I'll watch it again. But, last thing I'll say, and then Bobby, you could take us home here. I know we have some episodes coming up. We're going to do some one on Stone Cold. He has that biography coming out on A&E. And then we're going to do one on Hogan. I think he deserves one. You can hate the guy or not, whatever. It doesn't matter. He was still a childhood idol of mine, and I'm sure many other people's. Maybe do one on Mankind, and then we'll do one on the territories, and maybe Chris Jericho, and there'll be more to come. But we got some good stuff coming, and in between, maybe we'll do some IRLs in real life and catch up. But as you can see, we did a pretty good job of not keeping it too negative, but it's just difficult for us because it's not what we're used to.
You guys agreed a little too much, so I am slightly disappointed with that. But great work all around, and until next time, folks, keep listening. Check us out, startingfromgorilla.com, @from_gorilla. Just check us out. If you already haven't, we love you. We'll see you again soon.
We now return your perception of reality to you. Until next time.